Day 6. Faith to step out, trusting and thanking. Faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase. Martin Luther King Jr. Growing up as a child of missionary parents, we grew up encouraged by the lives of many missionaries that our parents used to tell us about. One such missionary is George Mueller. One day, George Mueller woke up to find that he had no food or no money to buy food for the 300 children that were in his orphanage. So he told the children that had gathered in the dining room, "Let us pray and let us thank God for the food that He's going to give us." Right then he heard a knock on the door, and the local baker came by and said that he had a restless night, he could not sleep. So at 2 o'clock in the morning, he woke up and he baked bread for the children. Right as he was leaving, another knock was on the door. The local milkman was delivering his milk when his wagon broke down outside of the orphanage. In order for him to actually fix the wagon, he had to unload the milk, and so he offered the milk to the children in the orphanage. That day, Mueller and the children recognized the power of faith in prayer. In Matthew chapter 14, verse 22 to 23, we read about this account of Jesus walking on water, and Peter asking Jesus if he could walk to Jesus on water. And Jesus said, "Come." But as soon as he took his eyes off Jesus and he focused on the wind, he began to sink. And Jesus immediately reached out and saved him and asked, "You of little faith, why did you doubt?" The lesson: keep your eyes focused on Jesus and not on the wind. Jesus didn't just talk about faith, he demonstrated it as well. We are familiar with the account of Jesus raising Lazarus from the dead. But what we have to recognize, Jesus looks up to heaven and he thanked God. And he said, "I thank you, my Father, for having listened to me." He thanked God in advance of the miracle. He didn't wait for the miracle to happen to thank God because he trusted God completely. Jesus assures us that everything is possible for the one who believes. We need to believe, that is to trust. And by prayer and thanksgiving, we need to express that faith in God. God calls us to step out in faith with thanksgiving even before the miracle happens. When we keep our eyes focused on Jesus, fears flee. George Mueller beautifully said, "Where faith begins, anxiety ends. Where anxiety begins, faith ends." Let us not be of little faith and doubt, but by prayer and thanksgiving, let us trust completely in God. Are you willing to take that first step of faith, even when you don't see the whole picture? Are you willing to take that step of faith, trusting and thanking God in advance?